Indians are invaders. The Bengal kingdom conquered a number of kingdoms and territories over its long history, including Samatata 4th century BCE, Vangar 4th century BCE, Magadha 6th century BCE, Assam 13th century CE, Arakan 15th century CE, Tripura 16th century CE, Orissa 16th century CE, Bihar 16th century CE. The Bengal kingdom was also a powerful naval power, and its influence extended to other parts of Southeast Asia, such as Sumatra and Java. It is important to note that the borders of the Bengal kingdom fluctuated over time, and it did not always have direct control over all of the territories listed above. However, the Bengal kingdom was one of the most powerful and influential kingdoms in South Asia for centuries. There is no record of the Bihar kingdom conquering any other kingdoms. In fact, Bihar itself was conquered by the Magadha Empire in the 6th century BCE, and it remained under the rule of various empire and dynasties for the next 2000 years. The Magadha Empire, on the other hand, conquered a number of kingdoms and territories over its long history, including Koshala 6th century BCE, Vatsa 6th century BCE, Avanti 6th century BCE, Kalinga 261 BCE. The Magadha Empire was one of the most powerful and influential empire in South Asia for centuries. It reached its peak under Ashoka the Great 273 to 232 BCE, who ruled over a vast empire that stretched from the Himalayas in the north to the Deccan Plateau in the south. After the death of Ashoka, the Magadha Empire began to decline, and it was eventually conquered by the Gupta Empire in the 4th century CE. The Carnatic kingdom conquered a number of kingdoms and territories over its long history, including Thanjavur 12th century CE, Madurai 13th century CE, Jinjit 16th century CE, Gingit 16th century CE, Vellore 16th century CE, Pudukkottai 17th century CE, Thanjavur again, 17th century CE. The Carnatic kingdom was also a powerful naval power, and its influence extended to other parts of Southeast Asia, such as Sri Lanka and Sumatra. It is important to note that the borders of the Carnatic kingdom fluctuated over time, and it did not always have direct control over all of the territories listed above. However, the Carnatic kingdom was one of the most powerful and influential kingdoms in South Asia for centuries. The Carnatic kingdom reached its peak under the Vijayanagara Empire 1336 to 1646 CE, which controlled most of South India. However, after the decline of the Vijayanagara Empire, the Carnatic kingdom was fragmented into a number of smaller kingdoms. These smaller kingdoms were eventually conquered by the British East India Company in the 18th century. The Hyderabad state was a princely state in India that was ruled by the Nizams of Hyderabad, a Muslim dynasty of Turkic origin. The Nizams were one of the most powerful and wealthy princely states in India, and they ruled over a vast territory that included most of present-day Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. The Nizams of Hyderabad conquered a number of kingdoms and territories over their long history, including Golconda Sultanate 1687, Bijapur Sultanate 1686, Warangal Fort 1724, Kadapa 1753, Anantapur 1758, Kurnool 1765, Adhoni 1789, Guntur 1790, Nellore 1792, Chittor 1795. The Nizams of Hyderabad also expanded their territory by taking advantage of the power vacuum that was created by the decline of the Mughal Empire in the 18th century. The Hyderabad state remained independent until 1948, when it was annexed by the Indian Union after a brief military operation known as Operation Polo. It is important to note that some of the conquests of the Nizams of Hyderabad were disputed by neighboring kingdoms, and there were frequent wars and skirmishes over territory. However, the Nizams of Hyderabad were generally successful in expanding their kingdom and maintaining their independence. The Mysore kingdom conquered a number of kingdoms and territories over its long history, including Bednore 1763, Sandat 1763, Coorg 1766, Malabar 1766, Kanara 1768, Coimbatore 1769, Dharwad 1777, Bellary 1779, Dindigul 1782, Salem 1782, Thanjavur 1782, The Mysore kingdom reached its peak under Tipu Sultan, 1782 to 1799, who was a brilliant military strategist and administrator. Tipu Sultan expanded the Mysore kingdom into a major power in South India, and he was a major threat to the British East India Company. However, Tipu Sultan was ultimately defeated by the British East India Company in the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War 1799. After Tipu Sultan's death, the Mysore kingdom was reduced to a small princely state under British rule. It is important to note that some of the conquests of the Mysore kingdom were disputed by neighboring kingdoms, and there were frequent wars and skirmishes over territory. However, the Mysore kingdom was generally successful in expanding its kingdom and maintaining its independence until the late 18th century. The Punjab kingdom, also known as the Sikh Empire, conquered a number of kingdoms and territories over its relatively short history, including Multan 1818, Kashmir 1819, Peshawar 1823, Dera Ghazi Khan 1836, Jammu 1839, Hazara 1845, Bannu 1847, Kohat 1847, Dera Ismail Khan 1848. The Punjab kingdom reached its peak under Maharaja Ranjit Singh, 1780 to 1839, who was a brilliant military strategist and administrator. Ranjit Singh united the Sikh Miles confederacies and conquered a vast territory in Punjab, Kashmir, and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. However, the Punjab kingdom was ultimately defeated by the British East India Company in the First Anglo-Sikh War 1845 to 1846 and the Second Anglo-Sikh War 1848 to 1849. After the Second Anglo-Sikh War, the Punjab kingdom was annexed by the British East India Company. It is important to note that the Punjab kingdom was a relatively new kingdom, and it did not have a long history of conquest. However, under Ranjit Singh, the Punjab kingdom became one of the most powerful kingdoms in India. The Orissa kingdom, also known as the Gajapati Empire, conquered a number of kingdoms and territories over its long history, including Ganjam 15th century CE, Vizianagaram 15th century CE, Kalahandi 15th century CE, Bonai 15th century CE, Mayurbhanj 15th century CE, Keonjhar 15th century CE, Dhenkanal 15th century CE, Sambalpur 15th century CE, Raigad 15th century CE. The Orissa kingdom reached its peak under Kapilendra Deva 1435 to 1466 CE, who was a brilliant military strategist and administrator. Kapilendra Deva expanded the Orissa kingdom into a major power in eastern India, and he was a major threat to the Vijayanagara Empire. However, the Orissa kingdom began to decline after the death of Kapilendra Deva. The kingdom was weakened by internal conflict and external threats from the Muslim kingdoms of Bengal and the Deccan. In 1568 CE, the Orissa kingdom was conquered by the Bengal Sultanate. It is important to note that the Orissa kingdom was a major power in eastern India for over 2 centuries. The kingdom was known for its rich culture and architecture, and it produced some of the greatest rulers and generals in Indian history. In addition to the kingdoms and territories listed above, the Orissa kingdom also conquered a number of smaller principalities and chieftaincies. The kingdom also had a significant influence on the neighboring kingdoms of Bengal and Andhra Pradesh. The Awadh kingdom, also known as the Oudh state, conquered a number of kingdoms and territories over its relatively short history, including Kaura 1732, Allahabad 1739, Faizabad 1744, Rohilkhand 1774, Gorakhpur 1775, Basti 1775, Azamgarh 1775, Jaunpur 1775, Ghazipur 1775, Ballia 1775. The Awadh kingdom reached its peak under Shuja-ud-Dawla 1754 to 1775, who was a powerful and ambitious ruler. Shuja-ud-Dawla expanded the Awadh kingdom into a major power in North India, and he was a major threat to the British East India Company. However, Shuja-ud-Dawla was defeated by the British East India Company in the Battle of Buxar 1764. After the Battle of Buxar, the Awadh kingdom became a tributary state of the British East India Company. It is important to note that the Awadh kingdom did not have a long history of conquest. The kingdom was established in 1722 CE, and it was annexed by the British East India Company in 1856 CE. However, under Shuja-ud-Dawla, the Awadh kingdom became one of the most powerful kingdoms in North India. In addition to the kingdoms and territories listed above, the Awadh kingdom also conquered a number of smaller principalities and chieftaincies. The kingdom also had a significant influence on the neighboring kingdoms of Delhi, Bengal, and Nepal. The Maratha Empire conquered a number of kingdoms and territories over its long history, including Ahmednagar Sultanate 1633, Bijapur Sultanate 1686, Golconda Sultanate 1687, Khandesh Sultanate 1601, Berar Sultanate 1601, Baglana Sultanate 1636, Junnar Sultanate 1636, Thanjavur 1676, Madurai 1677, Mysore 1759, Hyderabad 1763, Bengal 1751, Orissa 1751, Awadh 1752, Delhi 1757. The Maratha Empire reached its peak under Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj 1627 to 1680, who was a brilliant military strategist and administrator. Shivaji Maharaj united the Maratha people and established a powerful empire in Maharashtra. Under Shivaji Maharaj and his successors, the Maratha Empire expanded into a major power in India. The Marathas were known for their cavalry and their guerrilla warfare tactics. They were also able to defeat the Mughal Empire, which was the most powerful empire in India at the time. However, the Maratha Empire began to decline after the Battle of Panipat in 1761. The Marathas were defeated by the Durrani Empire, and they lost their control over much of North India. Despite its decline, the Maratha Empire remained a powerful force in India until the early 19th century. The Marathas were eventually defeated by the British East India Company in the Third Anglo-Maratha War 1817 to 1818. It is important to note that the Maratha Empire was a very diverse empire. It included people of different religions, castes, and ethnicities. The Marathas were also able to establish a strong system of administration and governance. The Maratha Empire had a significant impact on the history and culture of India. The Marathas were known for their bravery, their martial skills, and their love of freedom. They also made significant contributions to Indian art, architecture, and literature.